Adaptive reuse is a specific form of development that in recent decades has driven the revitalization of historic neighborhoods around the world. Adaptive reuse transforms existing, usually historic building stock for the purposes of contemporary living. In many examples of adaptive reuse in the past 2 decades, vacant office buildings have been adapted to new uses as residential buildings. Another common form of adaptive reuse is the conversion of former industrial warehouses into restaurants or food halls, in addition to live-work lofts. In one famous example of a creative adaptive reuse park, a defunct rail line in Manhattan was transformed into the wildly popular High Line Linear Park. A wide variety of uses can be created through adaptive reuse, depending on the development history specific to each city and the current state of the economy. Because so many U.S. cities have completely changed their approach to land use and zoning regulations since the construction of historic buildings, many of these buildings could not be developed in the same way today. What's more, because of the height limitations and parking requirements of contemporary zoning codes, new laws were necessary in most U.S. cities to allow adaptive reuse. The city of Los Angeles, for example, approved an adaptive reuse ordinance in 1999, paving the way for a complete transformation of its downtown historic core, from vacant commercial buildings to upscale loft, condominium, and hotel developments. The Los Angeles Adaptive Reuse Ordinance made this transformation possible by allowing, among other changes, a more permissive approach to the amount of parking usually required on-site in a residential development. The many layers of planning history that contribute to the necessity and effectiveness of adaptive reuse is an obvious example of the power of planning to influence the future of the built environment. Sometimes, a new kind of planning is necessary to undo the legacy of planning history.